Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar for today, 5 mistakes to avoid when opening your own upper cervical practice for upper cervical docs, associates, and students. Thank you for joining us today. Sorry about some technical difficulties getting into this webinar today. We will be doing these on a regular basis and we'll get all the bugs worked out. But thank you for joining us live. If you're on this, if you're watching the recorded webinar after the fact or the replay, welcome as well. So I am Dr. Bill Davis. For any of you that don't know me, I have a very long history in upper cervical chiropractic. Started a practice in Southern California, all cash practice, built it very successfully, and was blessed to be able to help a lot of people in my community. I did have a mountain biking injury, flipped over on my mountain bike, landed on my head, broke my neck in 2011, and was unable to practice after that. And so in 2013, I started UCM, Upper Cervical Marketing, and we've been able to help lots and lots of people over the years now. For the past 10 years, we have helped hundreds of upper cervical doctors in their practices. And specifically today, we're going to be talking about how we've helped many doctors open upper cervical practices in a way that provides them with success as quickly as possible. So over 100 upper cervical practices have started right with upper cervical marketing in the last 10 years. So whether you're coming straight out of school, you're out of an associate position, or you're transitioning maybe from another technique into upper cervical, what you need to do to start right is very similar. We know the answers to the questions. We know what works, what doesn't, and that's really what we're going to be talking about today. So wanted to assure you that you're in the right place. What you're going to learn today is very powerful and very, very important for you in this stage of practice when you are starting your upper cervical practice. It is something that I wish I would have known when I started my practice. We're going to save you years and years of frustration today in today's webinar, and really save you tons of money as well, of wasting your money on things that just don't work. And so we're going to talk about how to find the right location for your practice, how to differentiate yourself as a unique upper cervical specialist, why starting your website or starting your practice without a website or social media setup is such a bad idea. I'm going to tell you about what I learned from having to hire 6 CAs in my first 6 months in practice. Talk about some of the biggest mistakes in digital advertising. Talk about how to get 25 Google reviews even before you open your doors. How to cost effectively get everything you need from a branding perspective. How to get health practitioners in your community to refer patients to you even when you're brand new. And how to invest time instead of money to build a social media following on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and other places. And really, a really key one, how to build a powerful mindset and habits in about 30 minutes a day, and much, much more. So let's get going. Let's get started. I'm so excited to bring this to you. So let's go through these 5 mistakes. The first mistake is opening in a bad location. Many doctors that I know have opened their practices in a location without really thinking through what that means, why it's so important to have a good location, why it's important to choose the right position for your practice and avoid dead areas, right? So you want to be the right man, right, or the right woman. You want to have the right plan, and you want to have the right land. The right land is what we're going to be talking about in this first mistake. What is that right land for you to be able to open a practice in? So when picking a practice location, you want to ideally be in a community that can be accessed from a 360-degree radius. So that means avoiding coastal areas where half of your practice drawing radius is eliminated. That also could be even mountain ranges. Sometimes a mountain range, if you're right up against that, people couldn't come to you from that direction. So just thinking through that, you want a centrally located location in a community that can draw from 360 degrees. When picking a location, you also want to make sure that you're not going into an area that's dying, right? You want to, when you're driving through prospective locations, prospective communities, cities, and whatnot, you want to go into an area that has a lot of new construction, new jobs being developed, new technologies being developed in those areas. You don't want to see a place where there's tons and tons of vacancy signs, right? Where there's a lot, you see a lot of dead shopping centers where half of the stores are closed. Those are not the kind of communities that you want to open a practice in. You also want to pay attention to traffic patterns. So even when you're picking a location and you got that 360-degree drawing radius, you also want to pay attention to how people move through the community, right? You want a convenient location that can be easily accessed from freeways or major roads. You want to think through those types of things so that when someone is going to travel to your practice, is it going to be easy for them? Are you on a place where people commute back and forth, right? Because that could be a good place depending on the type of practice you have. So just paying attention to those types of things is really important. So mistake number one is opening in a bad location. You don't want to do that. Avoid that at all costs. Think through these things, think through these patterns, think through these locations so that you open in a good spot. Mistake number two, not thinking about your practice branding. Practice branding is everything related to your brand as an upper cervical chiropractor, as an upper cervical practice, right? So this starts with your name, and we're going to talk through how to pick a good name, how to name your upper cervical practice in such a way that it appeals to your ideal patient. Because that's the thing, is you want a name that connects with your ideal patient. Not just something that you like, which it's good that you would like it as well, but mostly you need to be focused on who you are looking to attract into your practice. So choosing a comforting or familiar name conjures up pleasant memories, right? Sometimes it's a good name can be something related to a local landmark, a local community, geographic point, those types of things. Some really good practices have been named after rivers in the area, or hills or mountains or different things like that. Very familiar, very comforting name. But you don't want to pick a name that's long or confusing, right? There's some practices that I've seen that pick names where their name is some kind of a foreign word or something like that. It's not easy to say. It's not easy to remember. It's not easy to, even tell somebody else where you go, right? That's not a good strategy. You also want to avoid having your last name in your practice name, right? So like Smith Spinal Care. The reason for that is if you ever want to sell your practice, which at some point you will, you can't practice forever. At some point you want to sell your practice, it's going to be a lot easier to sell it if it's not named after you. Also, when you bring on associates, as your practice grows, you want to have your practice be that other people can work in and be able to thrive in as well in an associate position. So stay away from having your name in your primary practice or in your practice name. You also want to stay away from the word chiropractic if at all possible. And that's because of the negative brand equity when it comes to chiropractic within the public arena, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people who may think negative things about chiropractic associate that with the term chiropractic. And so if you can avoid having that in your name, I would. Now, there are states where that's required. You have to have the word chiropractic in your name. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get around that in those areas. But if you can stay away from it, I would, because you're going to be able to connect with more people. If you don't have chiropractic in the name, you're going to be able to connect with people who maybe already have some negative connotations with chiropractic. They will give you a chance if you are not connecting into their mind with that specific word. So, summary, you want to choose a name that's congruent with the types of patients that you're looking to attract, one that's short and to the point, and has a good positive connotation. Other aspects of branding, right? So you want to make sure that you're thinking through your branding. Don't want to do the mistake of not thinking it through. And a lot of that comes down to your subconscious communication. Your practice name is part of that. It's part of that subconscious communication. But online, there's a lot of things that are part of that subconscious communication as well, including your practice website. What does it look like, right? How is it perceived by someone who's landing there? Your social media pages, your logo, your color scheme, even social proof factors like your Google reviews, your video testimonials, those types of things. All of your branding should represent your unique upper cervical approach and be congruent to who you are and who your practice is. According to some studies, you only have about 50 milliseconds to make a first impression online. So it's absolutely crucial to think through these things when it comes to some of this subconscious communication. So when it comes to upper cervical chiropractic, when you're thinking about color schemes for things like logos, websites, even your office decor or other marketing collateral, brochures you have, business cards, whatever, there are 4 colors that tend to be the most effective when focusing on the most common demographic, which is a 45-year-old white female. That's the most common demographic in an upper cervical chiropractic practice. And so those are blues, yellows, greens, and purples. Blues, yellows, greens, and purples. So basically you want all of your color schemes to be focused around those four colors. Now, you don't have to have all 4 of those colors. You can just pick 2 of them. For instance, you could pick 3 of them. But the idea being that your color scheme is focused around those colors, blues, yellows, greens, and purples. That's going to be your most effective when it comes to your branding, your subconscious communication, when it comes to everything you're doing online and offline within your practice. So mistake number 2, we talked about not thinking about your practice branding. A big part of this, when it comes to all the stuff that you need when you start an upper cervical practice, your website, your social media pages, your Google listing, your logo, your business cards, other branding essentials, and so many other things that you need. You want to make sure that it positions you as the unique upper cervical specialist that you are. You want to do it cost effectively. And there's no better way to do that than our Start Right program. We bundled everything you need in one thing that you can purchase and have and start with right off the bat. It's absolutely the best value of anything out there that you can find. And it's by the upper cervical specialists. Upper cervical specialist expert, which is us, right? There's nobody else out there that understands you the way that we do when it comes to marketing and practice growth perspective. And so highly recommend our Start Right program. It's very cost effective. You get everything you need. And so to get that, you just go to uppercervicalmarketing.com. You can click you'll see on the homepage, it says Start Your Upper Cervical Practice. Just click that Learn More button and get a free practice strategy session. We'll walk you through the Start Right program and anything else that we think that would be useful for you. Mistake number 3, focusing your limited time wrong, right? So when you're getting ready to start an upper cervical practice, you have a ton of things to do, right? Your to-do list is very, very long. And oftentimes what we see is doctors getting caught up in doing things that they don't actually need to do, that they start to focus in on the wrong things and they're not spending as much time as they should on the right things. And so whenever you're looking at your list, you want to be thinking about, do I need to do this? Can I defer it till later? Or can I delegate it? Right? So every single thing that you do, do you need to do it? Can you defer it till later? Or can you delegate it to someone else? So when you're looking at a key thing to do, that is to focus on your mindset and habits. This is something you have to do yourself. Nobody else can do this for you. Nobody else can make you have a powerful mindset and habits to be successful as an upper cervical chiropractor. And so making sure that you're consistently feeding your mind with information and inspiration to keep you dialed in when it comes to your mindset and really start to develop habits that will lead to consistent success in your practice and life. One of the simplest ways to do this is just listen to one of our UCM podcasts every day, right? You can go to uppercervicalmarketing.com, Upper Cervical Marketing Podcast, or just click on resources. You'll see the podcast there. You click on it. Every podcast we've ever created is there. We have hundreds of them. And it's a very simple way. Every day, you listen to one of those podcasts. You put that into your mind. You listen to those successful doctors talking about their practice, talking about their habits, talking about the things they do, how they build systems, how they build their team, and so forth. It is incredibly powerful. And so if you are getting ready to open an upper cervical practice, I encourage you to commit to listen to the UCM podcast every day. Every day, listen to an episode. If you like one of the episodes, you get a lot of value from it, listen to it again, right? You can do this on any kind of a podcast tool that you have, on any of your smartphone devices. Our podcast is everywhere. And so you can search for it. Just search Upper Cervical. You'll find us, the UCM podcast, Upper Cervical Marketing Podcast. Or, of course, you can find it on our website. That is something you definitely don't want to try to defer to another time. You want to make sure that you're investing in your mindset and habits every single day as you get ready to open your upper cervical practice. Here's some other things to think through that you need to make sure that you personally are doing. Building your reputation as quickly as possible. So when you open your practice, your goal should be to have at least 25 Google reviews before you even open your doors, right? So if I was opening, on October 1st, I'd make sure that I had 25 Google reviews before I open the door. So how do you do that? How do you get Google reviews before you open? Well, first of all, if you engage with us and we help you set up everything, you'll have your Google local listing already set up. So once it's set up, you then start asking every person that you know that you've ever worked with, or is a friend of yours, or is a colleague of yours, whatever, you ask them to go on your Google listing and give you a review. Send them the link. You have a link that you'll get for your Google listing. You can send that to them and ask them, ideally, obviously, it'd be people that you have taken care of. Maybe if you're an associate, these are people that you have worked with, patients that you've worked with. If it's friends or family, maybe you've worked with them on the side, whatever. If it's a colleague that just knows your character, that is a person that can give you a review, right? Just get reviews, right? It really doesn't matter what the association is. You just want to have some stars by your name when you open, because when people start to refer patients to you, they will Google you. It happens every single time. And so you want to make sure that when they Google you, there's trust building things there, right? And one of those huge trust builders is a 5-star review on Google, where they can point to and say, oh yeah, okay, so other people are getting results in this practice. That encourages them to go in, right? So most important review sites, of course, Google, absolutely essential in every market. Some markets, Yelp will also be important. So these are mostly Western United States markets in large cities such as San Francisco, where it started, Seattle, Portland, San Diego, LA, those types of places. That's where it's the most important. Other big cities, it may be important as well. The best way to know how important it is just to, once your Google listing is set up, Google it, Google your practice name, and see what comes up. If Yelp is one of the first things that comes up on the first page of Google, then it's important in your area. But regardless, Google should be your primary focus. Another do is to get health practitioners in your community to refer patients to you when you're brand new, right? So I'm going to talk more about this in a second, but this is definitely something you can do. This is something you can be spending time on even before you open. You know, when you're brand new in practice and you have more time than money, you want to be spending time on things that are going to produce results, right? So spending time on your mindset, spending time on your reputation, spending time building a health practitioner referral network. And then another do I have here is to record videos. Invest time instead of money by building a social media following by just recording videos. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. And so when you're getting caught up in spending your time wrong or focusing your limited time wrong, one of the things that we see very commonly is we see doctors spending way too much time on doing things like building your own website, creating your Google listing, designing your logo, building on your social media pages, designing your business cards. Like, these are things that it's not the greatest use of your time. And that's why we recommend our Start Right for you. It just takes that all off your plate so you can focus on the things that are actually going to help you to be successful, the things that are most important for you to be doing, so that you can delegate that to us. We can take care of that for you, and you can focus on those things that are really, really important for you. Let's talk about mistake number 4. And that's opening a practice without a CA. So many docs make this mistake. They decide to try to open their practice by themselves. And I'll tell you, doc, you can't do this effectively alone. When you open an upper cervical practice, there is 2 jobs created immediately. One is for a doctor and one is for a chiropractic assistant. You can't do both effectively. You need someone who can answer the phone and schedule a new patient while you are doing a consultation with the new patient, right? Both of those things are extremely important to the success of the practice. And they can't both be done at the same time by the same person, right? And so that's the key, is you have to think that through and say, I got to get a CA hired when I open. Because if you don't, if you decide to open by yourself, what you're actually doing is you're trying to save money by not hiring this person, but you're stepping over coins. You're stepping over dollars, I should say, to pick up coins, right? You're thinking about things that, oh man, I have to keep my overhead low, but you're not investing in the things that are actually going to help you be most successful as quickly as possible. And so, is hiring a CA easy? Is it training them up easy? No, but it's worth it. And if you're going to be successful as an upper cervical practice owner long term, this is something you have to learn. You have to learn everything you can about hiring ideal team players who are humble, hungry, and smart. You have to learn how to hire them, how to train them, how to develop them into chiropractic advocates. And so we have something to help you with this. If you need help, you want help, you most likely do. We developed this course called CA Hiring and Training Made Easy for the Upper Cervical Practice. Again, when you schedule your free strategy session with us, we can talk you through that program. It has coaching along with video modules that you purchase, a one-time purchase. You get access to it forever, and you can use it over and over and over as you hire CAs, as you hire people for your practice. So again, a really, really good tool for you. Mistake number 5, opening a practice without a marketing plan. This is where we're going to get more detailed on some of these things that you should be doing, you should be spending your time on. We'll talk about how to do smart digital marketing, how to build that health practitioner referral network, how to consistently generate referrals, and how to serve in your community. Those four things right there is a really effective marketing plan for a brand new practice. If you focus on these 4 things, focus on how to do them well, and really pour your attention into them, you can get a lot of new patients into your practice even in those first 3 months. So avoiding the biggest mistake in digital advertising, and that's to spend a bunch of time before you open or in those first few months that you're open on trying to do ads yourself. It's a huge waste of time, and it's a big distraction for many doctors. You're much better off focusing on recording videos like we've talked about, and we'll talk more about in a second, than trying to figure out digital advertising. You know, I have an entire team of people who work on digital advertising for upper cervical chiropractors every single day, and we are experts at this, and we still have to learn things every day, right? And so you're never going to have all this knowledge that's necessary to actually do this effectively. And so I want to encourage you, don't waste your time trying to figure this out. I would wait at least 3 months to even do digital advertising, with us or with another agency. But why would you do it with another agency? We are the upper cervical specialist, but regardless, but I'm saying, don't try to do this yourself, doc. It's a huge waste of time. It's going to be a big time suck for you, a big energy suck. Just focus on those things that are most important. And that one of those is spending time recording videos. Recording short doctor videos, like frequently asked question videos like, questions that new patients ask. And if you're unsure of, these questions, if you're brand new in practice, you're coming right out of school or something, pay attention. As you start getting new patients in the door, pay attention to the kind of questions that they ask. Pay attention to the kind of things that they're concerned about, because those are really good videos. You make those kind of videos, they can be very helpful. Condition-specific videos, talking about different conditions and how the upper cervical misalignment is connected to those conditions are good types of videos. Your story videos, right? If you have a powerful story yourself of how you were helped with upper cervical chiropractic, tell your story. And then upper cervical specific videos, talking through what you do, your technique, and those types of things can also be helpful. Video testimonials. Once you start getting new patients in the door and you start helping people, you want to start recording video testimonials. Focus on the before and after state, meaning what was life like before they came into the practice, and what is life like now after they have experienced upper cervical care in your practice. And then put them everywhere. If we build all this out for you and you have all these different social profiles, put them on Facebook, put them on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and more. This will help you tremendously as your practice grows and you invest in digital marketing. So for instance, if 3 months down the road, your practice is going, you're starting to get some good revenues, and you then re-engage with us and you come back to us and you say, hey, I would love for you to help me generate more new patients. We're going to say, awesome. What we really need from you is some videos. And you're going to tell us, oh, I've been making videos for 3 months. That is going to make a tremendous difference, right? You're already going to have all these videos that we then be able to use in our digital advertising, in our different techniques and tactics to get you consistent new patients. And so recording videos is key. And then also just remember to get those 25 Google reviews. Get at least 25 before you open, and then continue to get them, right? You can never have too many Google reviews, ever. And so you just keep getting Google reviews as long as you possibly can. The next part of that marketing plan that's so important is building a health practitioner referral network. When you invest in this early in your practice, this will be something that can produce for you for years and years and even decades to come. So, as I mentioned before, our UCM podcast is an incredible tool, helps you develop that mindset, develop those habits. In episode 40 of the podcast, and so if you get to, if you can specifically key in on that one, if you'd like to listen to that one and develop this strategy, we discuss in detail how to build a health practitioner referral network, how to nurture relationships that are good for for your individual patients and also for your practice and your community in general. And so when building this kind of network, the most effective way to do it is to host an event in your practice. So depending on the size of your practice, if you have a lobby where you can get 10 to 15 practitioners in your front lobby, that's ideal. If your front lobby is not that big, you can host this in another location like a community center or a room in a library or whatever. But ideally, you want to have it in your practice. Even if you can get 7 people in there, that would still be okay, 7 to 10. But ideally, if you can get 10, that would be ideal. And so what you want to do is write a list of 10 health practitioners in your community. Just start Googling, looking for naturopathic practices, optometrists, TMJ dentists, acupuncturists, homeopathy, physical therapists that work with vestibular cases, all sorts of different things, all sorts of different practitioners out there that you can look for, right? You want to just start making a list of them. Write down their phone numbers, their websites and all that, kind of go through them and kind of get an idea of who they are, what they do. And then you just want to reach out to them. Say, you know what, I'm opening a practice in this community. I would love to come by and talk with you and learn more about what you do to see if it would make sense for us to work together with some of my patients that I'm going to be working on. Right. And so then when you meet them, you just want to introduce yourself, right? You want to get a feel for them, talk to them about what they do. And really, as you're interacting with them, you just want to be asking yourself, does this person really want to interact with me? Right? Are we clicking? Does this have a potential to be something? So really, it's about developing friendships, right? You have to start with a relationship. Then you can begin to attentively plan with them and set some expectations. So it would look like this. So, saying something like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be doing a study group in my practice, or you can call it a provider night. We're going to be doing this. We're going to be doing this on, the first Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. in my office. And, this is about building relationships. It's not networking. Networking is like stepping into a pool of piranhas, right? Everybody wants to eat each other. Nobody wants to give. Everybody wants to take. This is going to be designed for collaboration. It's going to be designed on relationship building. That's longer term. It's going to be built upon creativity. And so, is this something you'd be interested in, right? So this is how you approach this with them. This is how you talk with them about it. You talk with them about this collaborative approach, collaborative group that you're looking to build within your community. And there's going to be certain people that are really going to resonate with that. They're going to love it. They're going to be like, oh man, this sounds great. I would love that kind of community within this city. And there's some others that aren't going to have the time or the energy for it. And so that's why you got to get out there and start meeting them and start talking with them and engaging with these health practitioners. And from there, you want to begin, with that first 10 people, but also over time, you want to make sure that you continue to add more people to the mix. So, you start with that first 10. If you meet, engage and get out there and meet with 10 people before you open the practice. And then every month, making sure that you're out there meeting more people, right? So if you can meet 10 a month for a while, that will start to create a diversity, enough of a pool of people that are going to come in and out through the seasons and will stay connected. And so, Dr. Licata, who I had on the podcast, was talking about this in his community. They developed a database of well over 100 practitioners that they had amazing relationships with over the years. And those people were all referring to them. They had this huge network. And so he also discussed how, he would really focus on referring to them as quickly as possible if he could. So as you start working with patients, keeping them top of mind about the things that they do, so you can refer people to them. The more you give, the more likely others are to give back to you when it comes to referrals. So along with that, building that health practitioner referral network, doing that smart digital marketing that we talked about, another huge part of your marketing plan is referrals, right? Figuring out how to generate referrals, how to get them consistently is key. So as you get some new patients in the door, some friends and family, some personal contacts, those kinds of things, you want to make sure that you are communicating with them in such a way and that you're very targeted in your communication so that you're generating referrals. One of the best ways you can do this is by using referral statements. Referral statements is something that Dr. John Baker talks about on, again, episode 28 of the podcast. You go through the podcast, you'll get more and more of that information. But he talks about how to use a referral statement. And this is what he said. He said, for instance, I just finished adjusting a person. They get off the table. They say, Dr. Baker, I've had more results in your clinic than I have in 20 years ago in other chiropractors. And you say, that's not bad on them or good on me. This is a very specific office doing very specific work. And your body in this case requires specific work. I want you to think about this. You've got a wife, you've got 3 kids, you've got neighbors. How many people do you think that have no idea about the specific work we do in this office that might change their life, right? See, your wife may have problems with headaches or menstrual problems or, no problems yet. Wouldn't you rather have her checked out perfectly, specifically, rather wait until you have to drag her in or because she can't move, right? So this is the idea here is that you are, number one, listening, right? You're listening to people as they tell you about how they are being helped by the care that you're giving. And then you are then turning that into a referral statement where you can help them to think about people in their lives who could also be helped by the care that you're providing, right? So combining that listening ear with a bold statement of a referral, of a request for referral, and then trying to make it as easy as possible. Having for instance, a referral card or referral certificate that you can give them. Say, you know what, if I give this to you, would you give this to, your neighbor, Mr. Mrs. Smith? If we give this to you, it's, it'll help them come in, get a, discounted first exam or whatever you want to offer. But those types of easy referrals, you want to make that as easy as you possibly can. Another thing is making sure that, number one, you're doing progress exams. Something I see a lot with upper cervical chiropractors when they first start out in practice, they may not do progress exams, and you should. Every patient deserves to understand their progress, right? So making sure that you build that into your care plans so that when they get to, usually in that 10 to 12 visit range, you're doing an exam. You're repeating some of those things you did at first so that they can understand the progress they're getting. You have some objective tests that you redo, and then you also have some sort of a subjective form that they fill out so they can give you an update on, how they're changing, how they're functioning different now than they were when they first started in the practice. And this is an ideal time, again, to be thinking about referrals and generating referrals in a progress exam. So saying something, like this that's on the screen, you've been under care for 30 days. I'm very happy with your progress. I see you're on that road to recovery. One of my concerns is if we went in and re-x-rayed you today, you wouldn't look you wouldn't look that much different, even though you're feeling great. So a lot of people that think they're feeling great, but don't even know that their bodies are decaying and dying inside. You're excited about how you're feeling. Don't just tell people how excited you are about how you're feeling. This week, go out and tell some people about what's happening to you in this office, right? So having those kind of thoughts, those kind of statements, those kind of referral generating conversations with patients is an important part of developing this muscle, right? You want to make sure that when you're interacting with patients, both in individual visits and progress exams, that you're thinking about how I can help more people in this community that this person knows, right? And that's what it's all about. So the fourth thing that I recommend for a focus of a marketing plan for a new practice is to just get out in your community and serve, right? So along with that smart digital marketing, along with the building the health practitioner referral network, along with really focusing on referrals within the practice, just get out and serve and meet people, right? As much as you possibly can. Get involved with local church, get involved with a Rotary organization, charity organizations, whatever. Get out there, get in the community, serve, engage, connect, meet people. The more people you can meet, the more friendships you can develop, the more you'll have opportunities, not only to serve, which is a good thing in and of itself, but also just to meet more people. The more people you meet, the more you'll be able to introduce yourself as an upper cervical specialist in the community, and the more that your name will begin to get out there. So let's just recap those 5 mistakes we went over today. Mistake number 1 was opening in a bad location. Mistake number 2, not thinking about practice branding. Mistake number 3 is focusing your limited time wrong. Mistake number 4 was opening a practice without a CA. And mistake number 5 was opening a practice without a marketing plan. If you learned a lot of good things today and you want to learn more, highly recommend our book, Upper Cervical Practice Mastery, Learn Success Secrets of the World's Top Upper Cervical Doctors. We just released the 2nd edition earlier this year. Highly recommend the book. If you go to uppercervicalmarketing.com, you can actually get a free digital copy of the book right there. And you know what? If you're on this webinar today and you want a paper copy as well, we would even send you one of those if you respond, if you fill that out, and you'll get an email with a request to give us your address, and we can send that over to you as well. So we'd love to be able to help you. We love helping upper cervical chiropractors thrive. That's what we exist for. We exist to bring hope and healing to sick and suffering people for the glory of God. And we do that by partnering with upper cervical chiropractors in each individual community. So again, if you haven't already, I highly recommend going over to the website, uppercervicalmarketing.com, get that free practice strategy session. Just click that Learn More button on where it says Start Your Upper Cervical Practice. Learn more about the Start Right program. Learn more about the CA hiring and training made easy for the UC practice. Thank you again for your time today. I'm excited for you and what you're going to do in your upper cervical practice. Go Team Upper Cervical.